Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag-off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burb with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. From the bug with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two Dum Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Glad to see everybody today. It's hump day. Happy hump day to everybody. Welcome to you. Welcome back. This is episode 871 of the Two Dum Yinzers. I want to say welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I got to be honest with you. Everybody looks like they're in a good mood today. I'm looking at the board and people, they seem somewhat in a good mood. Let's get to it. Before we get, let me get on the board. I want to say good morning to everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Miss Pittsburgh, I think that Miss Pittsburgh is in a good mood. She says, here we go. She follows it up by saying, good morning, everyone, Steelers Nation. And then a big let's go. I think Miss Pittsburgh is fired up and she's ready for this Pittsburgh Steelers team to be playing this Sunday. And again, you know what? I think we might stand a chance. I know my narrative all season has been, we get to that Detroit game, it's going to be tough. But you know what? Screw it. We're going to be in this game, and it's going to be a good one. And you know what? I think we're going to win this one. Let's continue on the board. Good morning to Cody. Always great seeing you, my man. Cody says, what's up, Miss Pittsburgh? Bingo, what's up, brother? Always great seeing Bingo Winchester on the board. Yinzer Joe, my man. He says, Steeler Nation, what's up? Also, Cody says, tell Miss Pittsburgh I want another win, please. Tell Mr. Pittsburgh I want another win, please. That's right. Jen says hello to everybody. Good morning, Jen. I hope everything is going well for you in the state of Wisconsin this morning. Hey, there's Tater Tot. Tater Tot, welcome back to the show. Always great seeing the Tot on the terrible board. Good morning to Bingo. Already said he said Arthur Smith is not good. I skipped over Just Learning. Sorry about that. Just Learning said I think Rodgers is slowly putting his own offense in. You know what? Maybe that's the reason for the recent success. Who knows? Joe says, you think we're getting Alan Lazard? Interesting question. Field of Steel says, what's up, Watt fans? Teflon Don sucks. 90s your daddy, mothers. Cody says, Mike Tomlin for life. Miss Pittsburgh said, we'll do, Cody. I will let him know, and we'll get that delivered ASAP. RB says, remember when I said Steelers should use Jonnu Smith as a halfback from time to time, like 7 weeks ago? Yeah, I do. Tortilla, what's up, dude? Always great seeing the great Tortilla on the terrible board. Tortilla says the Lions sleep tonight. And you know what? They just might, guys. And again, if they do, you got to like the direction that we're heading in. Bingo says the geriatric roster, short week, road game against a good team equals problems. And it is true. It is a short week, guys. It is already hump day. And we're getting ready for the Detroit Lions on Sunday, which is a 4:05, 4:25, one of these 4 o'clock times on Sunday. So we get a day shortened. But you know what? I got confidence in our team. I think they're going to get ready. I think they're going to go get themselves a win this weekend up in Michigan. So we're going to get on this, all kind of things today, guys. I got a bunch of information. We got stuff to talk about from the Coach Tomlin press conference. We're going to look at the injury list report and all kind of other things today. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. Everybody on the board, welcome. RB says Dolphins just cut Matthew Judon. Would be a smart pickup. Donald Lurie, always great seeing you on the terrible board. He says, good morning. Let's go Steelers. That's right, baby. Always great to see Donald on the board, my man. Lindsay, great to see you as well. Hope everything is well for you. And you had a great hangover, I guess, from the big Steeler game the other night. We didn't get to talk to you yesterday. Jen says, this fucking 38 below zero froze my pipes. Water. Oh, $700 at Christmas. Yay me. Jen, that's terrible. What's up, everybody? Yeah, Bingo, sorry to hear that for Jen. Damn, that sucks. Mark, what's up, brother? Always great seeing Mark Malone. I was just going to get on here and brag about how it's 40 degrees here in Pittsburgh and how it's going to be 60 on Thursday and how it really just brought my spirits up. I got to be honest with you. I was getting down for a few days. And you know what? When I get down, I was making mistakes and things just weren't going the way they should have been. But I have a friend that I talked to recently, or pretty regularly, I'm sorry, who's not involved in the show. And we were texting last night, and he said that it's going to be 60 on Thursday. And you know what? Instantly, automatically, my spirits got brought right up. Well, here's my thing. It was as cold as it was over the weekend. It was it's cold as it's been. It's not even winter yet, guys. It's not even winter for a few more days. That's what's discouraging. And again, I thought, geez, oh man, if this is what we're going to be in the rest of the winter through these months, it's going to be terrible. But my spirits were brought up because I found out it's going to be roughly almost 60 degrees on Thursday. And you know what? I'm here for that, guys. And changed my mood right around. And I got to be honest with you, I'm pretty excited about it because, again, we have all winter. We have all winter long for the winter weather. And this was a little early this year. And it was really cold really early. So, but again, great news tomorrow, 60 degrees, if you will, here in Pittsburgh. So we'll take that. Lindsay, she had a kid's doctor's appointment. Got you on that. RB says MVS and Thielen are actually taken seriously by the defenses, and you see that playing out compared to Juggles and the Clown. And Wilson, you're absolutely right. Bro, that's all you needed was a couple veterans, you know, and the thing was, you know, going after these Van Jeffersons and guys like this, that just wasn't doing it. You got to find something a little bit more mid than the Van Jefferson experiment and all that. And I think you're right. You have to take Adam Thielen seriously. You have to take MVS seriously. And, you know, you have to account for these guys because they will make a play. They will make the big catch. They're veterans. They've been around. They've done that. I couldn't agree with you more. RB Tortilla, he says, negative 38. Where do you live, Jen? Russia? Jen says, thanks, everyone. I was here when it broke, so it could have been worse. Yeah, absolutely, Jen. Joe says, Lions did lose the Vikings and the Chiefs. That's what I'm saying. These teams that they lost to aren't good. We beat Minnesota. The Chiefs were just a shell of their former selves. So, you know, for these you're looking for reasons why you might be in this game. You know, that could certainly, be some things that we could point to. Cody says you should keep your water running at night. Cody, always great to see you on the terrible board, my man. Mark Malone says, yeah, it's supposed to be pretty fucking warm here in Southwest Missouri for a while. I'll take this heat wave. You know, I will. Again, it just got too cold too fast. It put a bad taste in my mouth, and now I'm just kind of dreading the cold. And again, great news. 60 degrees tomorrow. I will take it. Wisconsin, way up north, Jen says. Wisconsin, Cody says it in the appropriate vernacular. Johnny V5H says if we could keep that Steeler Nation energy up against Miami, unstoppable. Absolutely. My only concern, you know what? I'm going to get into my only concern here in a little bit, Johnny, but that's a very, very valid point. Mark Malone says I would have had a massive fucking wood burning stove up there. I'm sure she does. I think that they're acclimated for sure up in the area. Tortilla says there's a 400-mile cloud over California right now. Whole valley looks like the movie The Mist, except instead of monsters, it's just homeless people. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back, everybody. Glad to see everybody today. Yeah. We got a lot of Steelers to get into as this is midweek, as it is a short week, but I do want to say this before I start. Don't forget to get over and get your CBS pick'ems in, guys. Tomorrow night, Thursday Night Football is already kicking off. I know already. And another indication that things are going fast, there's only, listen, 2.5 weeks from right now, the regular season is going to be over. What? 2.5 weeks from right now, the season is going to be over, the regular season. And we'll be getting ready, of course, for the playoffs. But, if anything indicates just how fast time is going, 2.5 weeks until the end of the regular season. I can't believe it, guys. Here we are. But a couple notes before I do get started. I want to say, now that Kansas City is not in the playoffs, is it possible that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift could go play house on their own time now? You know what I mean? When they were involved, that's all you heard about. I'm so excited they're not involved just for these reasons, because, again, it became the show. And at the end of the day, most people don't want to turn. You know what? Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people that did want to turn in for Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, my mom being one of them. But for the most part, people want to turn into football. And that's always been my point with politics as well. I respect everybody's opinion. But when I'm turning into the platform to watch football, that's what I'm there to watch. If people want your politics, they'll come to you, like, yada, yada, yada. So Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, go play house. You're free. Go ahead. You got all the free time in the world now. Have fun. What else do we got today, guys? Yes, get your CBS pick'ems in. If you're not signed up yet, there is a link, right? If you just hit our logo at any point here on YouTube, any point, it will take you right to our main page, and then right across the top, there's a blue link in all the descriptions and that, and you just click on that, sign up. It takes under 30 seconds. It costs absolutely nothing. Takes 30 seconds again. So get in, sign up. It's a lot of fun. 3 weeks left. Get your picks in. Patricia, the big winner this week. So congratulations to her. And again, be sure to get those picks in at least the first game by tomorrow night so you don't miss out. Good boy. What do we got? We got a lot of things to go over today, guys. Let me grab a couple more of your messages and we will get into the numbers and injuries and everything that Coach said yesterday. So just give me one moment so we don't get too far behind today. Donald says this, got to finally ask, is the Mark Malone that you were responding to wouldn't be happy? You know what? Because I like you, Donald, I will tell you the truth. It's not. But sometimes, we could act like it. No, it is not. This is a good follower, a good viewer, if you will, that's been with us for a couple years now, and he is not. But yes, I've been asked that many times, unfortunately. But fortunately, we do have this Mark Malone, and he's great. So Cody says, what up, Somber? Somber, my man, what up? Always great seeing you, dude. Nice seeing you on the terrible board, as always. Tater Tot says, enjoy Sunday's blowout. Lions in the cover. Who do the Browns play? Don't worry about us. Believe me, you guys got more problems than you could count. Somber said this: the Trey Sermon resigned to the practice squad. Still have one empty spot for A-Rod's butt buddy. Somber said, "What up, man?" Also, Bingo says, "Make another Hallmark movies for fuck's sake." Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Now you have all the time in the world. By all means, go get married, get engaged, have kids. I don't care. Just don't do it on our football time, for F's sake. Come on. Tortilla says they're still going to cut to Taylor Swift 30 times at the Super Bowl. I mean, you're probably right. Steeler freak John, what up, homie? He says Rodgers has been running his offense from the beginning. Cody says this guy Browns got they ass beat. Oh, Browns got the ass beat 31-3, dude. Hey, come on. You might want to get a little closer in the game before you talk any kind of trash. TCOG69, welcome to the Terrible Board. He says we need different teams beside Kansas City in the playoffs. Absolutely. And you got to like this, TC. It's basically a throwback year as far as the playoff teams go. I mean, with the Colts just now dropping out, with them in there, you had the Colts, you had the Patriots, you had the Broncos, you had the Steelers. Certainly a whole different feel from this Kansas City vibe every year. And even with Buffalo not being as good as they've been, in the past few years, that's different. Lamar Jackson more than likely won't be in the playoffs as well. That's another name you could take out. So I think as far as football fans that want to see something fresh, this year might be a good year because the whole league's been crazy. It's what a weird year it's truly been, and we will certainly see different competition in the bracket because of this. Somber says, "Oh no, the restarted kid is back." Tortilla says, "You guys see Mike Tomlin tell Chris Carter you're stretching me." Yeah, I saw this as well. Mark Malone says, "Would be hilarious if it were." Taterbot, what's up, brother? That's what Steeler Freak is saying. Tyrone, my man, what's up, brother? Always great seeing Tyrone. Gang, dude. Man, a lot of things to get into today. Let's just to hop into it. I'm going to go right to my list that I have. These were the topics of conversation yesterday at the Mike Tomlin press conference. I'll throw the points out there. You guys could comment on the Terrible Board as we go and leave any comments that you will, and we will touch base on everything. If I can just pull this up here in one moment, and I swear I have a list. All right, guys, this was the conversations yesterday at the Mike Tomlin press conference. We'll hit this real quick, and we will continue on with the day. The injury reports given out by Mike Tomlin yesterday, of course, we did have the notes going across the bottom of the screen. Derek Harmon got the green light, says Coach T. Getting Derek Harmon back in this defense and in the lineup, I think, is huge, especially going into this Detroit Lions game. I think you need all hands aboard, all hands on deck. Everybody that you could possibly have ready to go, get them ready to go. Mike Tomlin also talked about the other injuries, Herbig and Ciamalo getting hurt on Sunday with their injuries. He said they're going to start the week slow and see how it looks as the week plays out. Also, no updates on TJ Watt's situation. Of course, he had the punctured lung 1 week ago today. He was in the gym working out at the facility on last Wednesday, and that's when the incidents all began with the lung and getting the dry needle and all this. But there's still no update on that. We're keeping our ear open for any scoop on TJ Watt. Also, Mike Tomlin talked about James Pierre and Andrews Pete not guaranteed to regain their starting jobs after their injury, which stinks. But you know what? At the end of the day, Asante Samuel shows up. He gets an interception in the first game. He's kind of a bigger name. He's kind of an is it right that James Pierre, as good as he's been playing, could possibly lose his position to Asante? I think it sucks for him, but at the end of the day, I'm okay with it personnel-wise. Either one of those guys in right now, red-hot James Pierre, or again, just a talent like Samuel, we will go with it. Also, this Jack Sawyer trending upward ahead of possible start, says Mike Tomlin. Of course, that would require TJ to still be out. And again, I was some opinions on the board yesterday about Jack Sawyer, not looking maybe up to where we'd expect him to be at this point. So just some interesting points that Coach did talk about yesterday, guys. We'll get into that in a lot more. Let me get through this a couple more things that we do have, because there were personnel moves and things that did happen over the past 24 hours. And I think one of the bigger things were this, actually. The Bengals, they swiped our Keshawn Williams. You know how he was returning kicks for most of the season, or our kick returner? Well, we put him on the practice squad to make moves to make people fit last week, and the Bengals swooped in and grabbed him off of waivers. That this team has no chance. They're out of the playoffs, yet they make this move. They go steal Keshawn Williams from us, from our practice squad. He's no longer with us. He was a solid return kicker. I mean, just like anybody else in the NFL, nobody's really blowing the roof off the league as far as kick returns anymore because of the new system. But, he had speed, he had versatility, and we're going to miss him, especially on those kick returns. He was also a wide receiver. So just want to throw that in there. Also, what else do we get from yesterday? Yeah, this. On Monday we brought up Lenora Sellers making the decision to go back to South Carolina. Well, over the last couple of days, two more college quarterbacks that were projected to be entering the draft decided to make decided to stay another year in college football. The biggest name, of course, Arch Manning. He decided he's going to stay in Texas another year, and this is something that we kind of anticipated. We talked about him a lot in the offseason coming into the year, but Arch Manning is staying in Texas another year, and then also Jaden Maeva, is that how you pronounce his name, for USC? He also is heading back to college for another year. So those two young men and Lenora Sellers all heading back to college. Yes, Summer, thank you. And they're heading back to college for another year. So that just makes things a little bit more interesting when April comes around. This quarterback situation isn't going to go away. It's something we have to take seriously. It's something that we got to, really put some work into, because the 42-year-old quarterback isn't going to, be here forever and isn't going to save the day and isn't going to bring us championships for years and years. So again, just interesting. Arch Manning, the kid from USC, and also Lenora Sellers. A couple names, two of them at least, Sellers and Manning, that I liked early. A lot of people are speculating that the Raiders are going to take the kid from Indiana that won the Heisman Trophy, but that just makes it more interesting, guys. Who knows what the deal is going to be? We have to do something. We have to do something moving forward as far as the quarterback position. Being in Pittsburgh, I think a lot of people expect this to be the year. We're going to get our guy, and it's going to be big, and it's going to be fun and special, and we're going to do it here in our town. But at the end of the day, with these three names going back to school next year, makes it a little bit more complicated on what we might do moving forward. Let's see. Let me get this one in here real quick. I don't want to go to that one real quick. I had something good. I don't know where it went for me, though. I'll just go right here. The Steelers did hold some tryouts yesterday, as they do a lot of times throughout the week. Here's some notable names that were here for the tryouts at the facility yesterday, guys. Hendon Hooker. Anybody remember this name? You follow college football? Hendon Hooker. He was in town yesterday trying out and working out with the Steelers. He was a quarterback. Also, Jack Plummer. Jack Plummer. Some of you might recognize that name. He was in town also working out with the Steelers yesterday, along with running backs Trey Stewart, Jordan Waters, and Ian Wheeler. Wide receivers Johnny Johnson III, Brandon Smith, Chris Tyree also in town, and J.J. Galbraith back, and Colin Granger all in town working out with the Steelers. So roster moves being made. Keshawn Williams getting stolen. Guys coming in working out with the team. A whole lot of different things going on for the Steelers right now as they are trying to prepare to continue to win in December, something that we haven't done for quite some time, not consistently at least. And I got to be honest with you, all the naysayers, I'm just interested. Let's say this. I mean, because nationally, you're still sitting all in the negative press, and they're saying, Detroit this, Detroit that. Let me ask you this: if we beat Detroit, or even if we keep it a close game, if we don't get our asses whooped, you come out of a division, a head-to-head division game that you needed with your division rival, you win that. You come out, you beat a team up that you're supposed to beat. That's good. Let's say you, again, either beat or stay in the game. Don't get your ass whooped 31-3. And then you got Cleveland. You start to feel, do you start to feel that the tides are turning at that point? Or do you feel it's more of a mirage? Because people along the way have been saying, we beat the Colts. This is a mirage. We're going to get excited and they're going to pull the old one on us. Let me know, at what point do you start thinking that this is a legit turnaround? Maybe we do have a shot to win a game. Maybe we do have a shot to win multiple games in January. Let me know what you think on that, guys, because a lot of people, it's all over the road. Some people still say, this team, they don't got it. They're not going to do anything. Other people are getting really optimistic. Me, I'm still in the middle trying to figure it out. And again, it's tough to say. I like to think that my team is going to be ready to go in January, but I don't know. So let me know what you guys are thinking on that. Also, we talked about the playoff situation yesterday. how the Steelers need to, if they win 2 of the next 3 and the Baltimore Ravens lose 1 of the next 3, or vice versa, the Ravens lose 2 of the next 3 and the Steelers win 1 of the next 3, we will be in the playoffs before we even play the Ravens. Get this. I didn't even notice this. It came up about yesterday. We don't even have to worry about these next 2 games. What? All we have to do is beat Baltimore. Hear me out. We're a game ahead of them. Say we lose this week and they win. We'll be tied. Say we go into the Browns week and lose and they win. They'll be up 1 game. And then it comes to the Baltimore Ravens game. And if we beat them, we will have, it will be 1-1 in the head-to-head. But the next tiebreaker, the Steelers have. So technically, all the Steelers have to do, they could literally play backups this weekend if they wanted to. We talked about that a little bit. But if they wanted to, and I don't recommend placing all your eggs in that basket, but all you have to do is beat Baltimore at the end of the year. It doesn't matter what they do between now and then. It doesn't matter what we do between now and then. Of course, the scenarios that I described at the beginning, they would help us get to the playoffs before we even had to play the Ravens. But again, the only team we have to, if we beat, is Baltimore. It's over. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what we do. It plays out that way with the tiebreaker. So again, guys, it's going to take a pretty mighty meltdown for us not to be continuing to play in January. And I think we got this, guys. And again, you get a nice game like you had the other day. It's not like the Colts game. I thought, listen, the Colts were totally overrated. And we really went out there and thought we beat a good team at the time. And we didn't. We beat an average team that was playing well. I think we knew what we were up against Monday. We knew that this was a team that we should beat. And they went out and whooped their ass. It was 28-3. 28-3. We whooped that ass. So again, the old Steelers, the Steelers that we complain about, the game could have been 13-10 because the Dolphins didn't do a lot of scoring and we weren't playing that well. But again, 28-3 in the third quarter, guys. I'm just asking, do you believe that we're turning the corner? Maybe they were playing possum all along. Is that possible? Maybe Aaron Rodgers is way smarter than we even give him credit for. And this is all his grand scheme. And they're going to come out and blow through December, make a nice January run. And who knows? But that is just some interesting information. Let me get through a couple more things here, guys, and we'll get back. We will get back to the terrible board. I don't want to get too far behind today. Carl Sheffer's referee crew will be refereeing the Steelers game on Sunday. His referee crew is the 4th most penalizing team of referees in the league this year. They called 202 penalties at the moment. They're coming off of a season-high 23 penalties in the last game that his crew refereed. Most notable game that they did referee, they were the referee crew for the Patriots and the Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl quite a few years back, where Atlanta was up 28-3, I do believe, and the Patriots come back and win. But Carl Cheffers was the crew, and his crew will be on 425 this week for the Pittsburgh Steelers in their Week 16 matchup at Ford Field between the Steelers and the 8-6 Detroit Lions. The Steelers come in at 6.5-point dogs. That's all right. You know what? I like it. I like the chip on our shoulder. I don't want to be favorited coming in. I like the guys with this back against the world feeling. And again, I'm starting to feel a little bit more confident as the week goes on about our Steelers heading into this Detroit game. And again, this is one that I didn't give them much credit, much hope for all season long. As soon as I seen it come up on the schedule, I was already considering it probably not a win. I do want to make sure I go through my notes real quick before I do get back to the board, or maybe some things in here I don't want to leave off just quite yet. Also, the Dolphins, they were so upset with the way that Tua played, which I was surprised. I was expecting Tua to be a little bit better than that. They're benching Tua. That poor guy. I mean, he's been through some shit so far in the NFL, but Tua is being benched by the Miami Dolphins, guys. So maybe they will be in the competition as well early for a quarterback in Miami come April, which again, that's another thing that kind of plays, against us. Another barrier between us and getting that guy that possibly can be our future franchise quarterback. All right, I'm going to leave it right there. And then we are going to get back onto the board. We do have a lot of things to get into today. I do want to say welcome. I hope everybody's having a great hump day. I hope everybody's excited, getting ready for this game because, again, you know how big it can be to beat Detroit, to be 3-0 in December. And again, you know, if we do beat Detroit, that just gets us one step closer, one step faster. And we'll take it, guys. If this was the 14 and whatever the hell they were last year, Detroit Lions, or even the team before that, I'm kind of thinking, again, where I've been this whole year, they're probably not going to win this football game. But guys, this 8-6 Detroit Lions team, they lost some bad teams. Pull out the Minnesota Viking tape. Watch the hell out of that. Because Minnesota's a team that we didn't have any problem with. We played that game early in the season in Ireland and pull that tape. See what the hell they did. Because whatever they did, we should be able to do also. So, again, things like this are making me feel a little bit better about our matchup this weekend. And, all right, let me think. Let me find. I do believe this is where we be. Right about here. There we go. All right, Taterbot. I'm all the way back down by Taterbot, jumping in right here. Somber says this. Somber says, Ewers take the Dolphins to the promised land. That's who it is, huh? It's Ewers. TCO, he says, absolutely, brother. Fresh is better. Tyrone, we did break the Dolphins, man. I'm going to do the interesting stats and shit like that at the end of the game. There's some good stuff in there this week from the Dolphins and Steelers game. So do stick around for that. Freaking huge, Somber says. Steeler Freak Tallman doesn't like those Madden game players asking X's and O's questions. Those crazy questions. Tater says you made hard work of the Dolphins, dude. I don't even know what that means. Tyrone says, I hope TJ motherfucking Watt will play. Cody, 31-3, referring back to Tater Tot. Tyrone says we need him, hard work. And that's the thing as well. I mean, getting healthy at this time of year, it's important. If you can start playing your best football, getting healthy and not allowing disasters, you know, that's the first step. And these are things that we've not been able to avoid over the past 5 years. So, you know, hopefully, again, we keep moving in the right direction. Lindsay says, easy work, 31-3. Cody Somber says 28-3 is the real score of that game. I agree. 28-3 was the real score of that game. And I do want to make a correction yesterday. I said that the only time that two tight ends from the opposite team scored touchdowns is the first time it happened in the NFL. It was both our tight ends. I misspoke. I obviously knew that Meatwad and also Jonnu Smith had scored, but that because those two things happened, Meatwad scored on the Yinzer push into the end zone, and then also Jonnu Smith's touchdown is the first time in NFL history that two tight ends on the same team scored a running touchdown in the same game. I just wanted to correct myself on that as I came across that later in the day. First time ever in NFL history, two tight ends from the same team have scored a rushing touchdown in the same game. Cody says this. Cody says how the Browns only score 3 points. You know what? That's why you got to love the little nugget that's here on the board. A Tater Tot, you know, ugly people don't know that they're ugly. It just kind of falls into that category. Lindsay says, so bored you come to Steeler chat. Your life sucks. I can imagine it probably does, Lindsay, if he's a Browns fan. That would be my guess. Sommer says, at least Williams is on a squad. Hate that. It's the best. Absolutely. And that thing, I liked him. He has a nice talent, young kid. And it's just unfortunate that he ends out over there with that disaster. John says, Ass Manning needs to stay. Mark Malone says, I'd still draft a couple quarterbacks from the fourth round on. Maeva is the quarterback from USC. The guys are helping out on the board there. Cody says 18-35, 177 yards, 3 interceptions, 5 sacks. Can anybody guess whose stats that is? That sounds like Shador Sanders. Up there it is. Tyrone got Shador Sanders. Tyrone says one wasn't his fault, though. Mike Tomlin says Kenny Pickett. Tyrone, Judge Judy had the ball and it dropped. Tater Tot said 2 firsts, and you could have Shador. You're gonna give us 2 firsts and Shador. We'll take it. All right. What a waste that would be to give anything for that guy. To be honest with you, have fun with that for the next 2 or 3 years. Steelers drafting a quarterback with Tomlin as head coach and no innovative OC is a waste of time. Hey, you know what, John? At the end of the day, when you look at the big picture, you're not wrong. How just by the way some of the players' development have gone through this era. It's a valid point. There's a lot of layers you got to peel back on that, but it's a valid point. Somber says this. He says nobody wants Shitdora. Mark Malone says our guy isn't going to be there. Wade Johnson, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Wade Johnson on the board. He says Howard is better than those QBs. Shitter Sanders, Mark Malone says. Tortilla, Browns are going to pay Shador $500. That's why they're the Browns. That do you expect anything less? This is why I love them. I love the Browns. That's why I'm glad they're back. They're a whole sector of entertainment in themselves in the NFL, and I'm here for it. Kenny Pickett only threw one interception, is what Cody was saying. My man Jamal back on the board, gang, motherfucking gang. What's up, brother? Tortilla says, I work out with hookers too. Love those workouts, Tortilla says. Somber says, only tried Hooker out because he was on the Lions. Tomlin isn't slick. Ooh, good thought. Good catch. Wade Johnson won. Jets released Lazard yesterday. They did. He released, maybe they released him today, but he did request yesterday to be released. And I'm just wondering, are we just at the point now where we're satisfied? You did bring in Thielen. Aaron loves his veteran presence, his route running. His boy MVS catches a touchdown. I'm just wondering, I mean, do we feel full now? How do you feel? How do we feel as fans, guys? Are we still on the prowl? I know when we only had one wide receiver, but if these two guys are going to make a difference, I don't know. I mean, where are we? Where are we as Steeler Nation? I'm just kind of curious how everybody feels about the Allen Lazard situation. Somebody that we had our eye on. We fill the spot, get content, and then all of a sudden he becomes available again. So just kind of curious, see what we're thinking on that, guys. Andrew Joe says, I heard the Steelers might go after Mac Jones in the offseason. I you know what? I heard that amongst other rumors as well, Joe. I'm not sure, but I don't know. I'm not really sold on Mac Jones. Again, these Alabama quarterbacks, they don't do it for me. They just don't. Mark Malone says would make sense. Tyrone. Yep, Wade Johnson won. We'll get him at 4 today. Watch. Cody says Steelers like Charlie Sheen, winning people don't know we got Tiger Blood. Exactly. I'm sorry. RB says, I still have no faith in this team going anywhere under Mike Tomlin. Again, we just beat bad teams in the same way. Once we get comfortable lead, he quits on both sides of the ball. And, the thing is, ultimately, there's only one winner every year. And there's 31 losers. And don't get me wrong, I understand what everybody's saying. And I do, and I get it. Do I have faith that this is a team that's seems like they get out-coach teams in January? I don't think so. Does this seem like a team that can outplay the higher caliber teams in January? I don't know. So, I think ultimately everybody has that vibe, but we're just hanging on, saying, you know what, maybe this is that year. Maybe this is something crazy. Maybe this is the Aaron Rodgers send-off year, like Peyton Manning and Ray Lewis and Jerome Bettis have had before. And if this team could just get into the playoffs and get that home game early and maybe get a second-round team that's beatable, this could be a year. And I think that's what everybody's hanging on for the most part. Again, I think most of Steeler Nation understands that this team isn't a great football team this year. Or even if they are a really good football team, they're not playing up to their standards. I think that we could all agree on that for the most part of the season. But, we got 3 games left. What are we going to do? I don't think we're not going to not watch. We wait all year for it. So, again, I think most people see the writing on the wall. And at the end of the day, but, you hold on to that hope because it's our team and it's what we love. And, again, I think that most people understand these things. And, Tater Tot. I'm sorry. No, I'm right here. Yes, let's go. Tater Tot. He says, no cannon fodder in the playoffs. Sorry. Somber says this. I have no faith until they prove it. They've beaten too wishy-washy all season. And that's absolutely. If you look down the schedule, it's been wishy-washy. So at this point, you're trying to pull positives out of the hat and say, all right, let's see, is this a thing? We beat a Ravens team that, again, no matter how good they are or we are and they're not or we're not, it's always a good game. We managed to win that game. A team like Miami is a team that you should beat. We went out and beat this team. So yes, they weren't great teams. Yes, they've been wishy-washy. But again, for what it is, we can't. I'm not going to bail. Because like myself, if my team gets knocked out of the playoffs, so does 30 other teams in the league. And, there's 31 losers every year. So, again, we could just throw in the towel and say, well, they're not going to do anything. They never do. Or we could, again, just hope for the best and follow our team as we do and go from there. But again, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you. I think that we have a lot of problems, and I think a lot of these problems could be the reason that trips us up along the way. But again, we still got 2.5 more weeks of regular season, guys. Let's have a lot of fun with it, and then we'll be getting ready for the postseason. I'm confident, and like I said, it's going to take a huge meltdown for the Steelers not to get in at this point. But it's not out of the question. So a lot of important football left. Let's go to Bingo. Bingo says, beat the Lions with a solid fundamental game, and I'll have faith. RB says, you aren't winning games against good teams when you quit at any point of the game on either side, let alone both. TCO says, expect the unexpected. Tyrone says, at least we won back-to-back. We'll take it. Stacked a couple wins. Feel the Steel says, no, seen the same crap for a decade. Teflon Don sucks. Steeler Freak says 8-6 Lions with a bad D. They aren't a tier 1 team. They're desperate to stay in the playoff. That's right. They're fighting for their playoffs lives. And they do have the same record as us. And their defense is not as good as it's been. They got some bright spots over on the defensive side of the ball, but again, it's not the same. Not playing as good as they have. Tortilla says Will Howard has never lost against the Ravens. Tyrone says line safety out. That dude, okay, that's again, we'll take that. Let's see, Jamal. Better record can make a home game difference in the playoffs if higher seeded teams drop out, so every game still counts. I think that's where I'm at. Jamal talking trash with the Steeler gang. Like and subscribe. Absolutely. Get over there. Check out the guys. Check out Jamal, Tyrone, Cody, and Tortilla over at Talking Trash with the Steeler gang. A lot of good talk over there. Get into football and a lot more right here on YouTube. Go check them out. Mark Malone says, I really do think MVS and Thielen are going to make a difference. Tyrone says, so do I. Wade Johnson 1 says, I don't care about scenarios. Just line up and play football. MVS loves Thailand. Tyrone, how you feel if we get Lazard today? If we get Lazard, I'll be happy. Like I said, I'm not as hungry as I've been all year. Or you could say as I've been the past 2 years, wanting a wide receiver, I'm sorry. But if they get Alan Lazard today, I'm going to feel even better. I'm going to feel a little bit better. Again, more playmakers, the better. Why this has been hard for the Steelers to figure out, I'll never know. The least of the playmaker positions, quarterback, running back, wide receivers, tight ends, we stack up on the least of the most productive, generally, skill player positions with tight ends. We get 1 million tight ends. Who wants receivers? All they do is get touchdowns. All they do is catch balls. All they do is make plays. We don't need that. Load us up with tight ends. These guys, they don't ever make plays. That's what we want to do. I can't believe we made it this far with the team set up the way that it is, the personnel. But again, in that sense, is that helping things out? Is that helping the turn? Having the veterans out there on the end, on the wide receiver position, running good routes, knowing when to stop and look on a change. Just so much veteran leadership that they brought in with those two players compared to Calvin and Roman or whoever. So, again, I think that goes a long way. How far that gets us, I don't know, but I certainly feel that the team's playing with more confidence since we brought those two gentlemen in, excuse me, than we were before. Let's go right here. Ginger Joe says, I fear we get up on the Lions, then let up in the fourth. Lions can score. And that's the thing about the Lions. They aren't that great, but they can still score a lot of points. A lot of points. So maybe we got to hope their defense isn't that good, and we can stay in that kind of game because they can score a lot of points fast with that offense. They have to play fundamental and keep the pressure on the lines to win, no let up. John says, Rodgers wanted them. Mark Malone, Rodgers wanted them, so I agree because we don't ignore them. Cody says, Browns play the Bills next, back-to-back blowouts. Ay. Can you imagine what this game's going to be like? Tater Tot's going to be suicidal next week. You know what? He'll be here talking shit on us. We'll win, they'll lose, and he'll still be here talking shit. That's what Browns fans do. They don't get it. Could you imagine taking a loss to a 2-12 team? How you lose to the Titans, bro? Hopefully you don't play the Raiders next. Tortilla, Tua and Calvin Austin will team up next year on the Raiders. RB says it's not playing possum, but it's now week 15 and a brand new offensive team, really, and now have actual NFL quality wide receivers across of DK, not a gimmick midget and a young dumbass. TCO says Lazard would be a good addition, take pressures off others. Absolutely. And that's exactly what these two gentlemen did. They just took so much pressure off in other areas. Again, why these kind of small things aren't seen for 2 years is still going to remain a question in my mind. But yes, I'll take Lazard. We'll take him. Again, it's not my money. I'll take him. He's going to help the team. Somber says, I'm convinced we're sticking with Mason, Howard, and a vet. The rookie quarterbacks are out of reach, especially if we keep winning. Mark Malone says there's just a bunch of deal hole quarterbacks next year. Anyway, I dropped a couple of them, but not before the 4th round. RB says Thielen's blocking is light years ahead of Juggles' decline. You know what? He had some big blocks. Broke open a few big plays. No two ways about that. Lindsay said, I'm worried about if Watt or Herbig are both out. And that's going to come down to what Coach was saying. He says he's, feeling confident. He's feeling good about Sawyer, if that be the case. So let's hope that's not the case. Because not that I don't have that much faith in him. I haven't seen a lot of things that I love yet, but I don't have any reason to not have faith in him at this point. But let's keep our fingers crossed on the other two before we start getting too worried about that. Tyrone says, Lindsay, they'll be fine. Mark Malone says the Watt man is out, I'm sure. Cody says Browns competing for the worst record. Hey, you know what? This is something they do. Again, remember this team? They were so bad. They pride themselves on being so bad. They truly, honestly do. You think that I'm getting ready to say something silly? This team went 0-16 and had a parade. Come on. That is the worst you could possibly. That's saying that you could never. You didn't even show up this year. You weren't good enough to beat anybody. And they think it's funny, but this is the clowns that they are. They don't get when somebody's ugly, they don't know it. That's where Cleveland falls. They're not only ugly and stupid. They are, you know what I'm saying? It's not because they don't know. They just are. They're ugly. They're stupid. They don't know what they're doing. And again, you spend money. You waste money for a parade because you went 0-16. Come on. Who's that funny to? You were the joke. They're laughing, but they were the joke. You see what I'm saying? When you're ugly, you don't know. RB says Watt is washed. He was no loss at all. I actually forgot he was playing during the game. Jamal says, I do hope we pick up Lazard. Wade Johnson 1 says Minnesota also was a division game. We all know. That's true. That's true. Them division games, brother. I agree. They're a bitch. You never know. So that is something to consider as well. Lindsay says, hop off TJ, damn it. She says, I ain't even playing. 007. Great to see you on the terrible board, brother. He says, you wish you had TJ Watt on your cheese team. Tyrone says, RB, boy, stop right now. We need TJ Watt. Did it seem that the defense played a little harder playing for TJ? Saying if we get a sack, we're going to do his celebration? Did it seem the defense played up more when that was the situation? Maybe we shouldn't change anything. Maybe we should sit the same guys out and see if the defense plays up to that level again. Saying, you know what, we don't have Watt. Everybody got to step up. There's games when Watt's in there where it looks like nobody's stepping up. So, yeah, John says, just drafting a quarterback isn't the answer and will be a waste. The quarterback must match with the new offensive coordinator and no Tomlin influence. RB, I actually thought the defense looked better without Tomlin. There you go. In his tunnel vision and sewing wide loops towards the wide receiver, roaming wide loops maybe. There it is, spamming. And you know what? That's kind of what I just said. Wow, did the defense look good last week? I'm not saying it was because he wasn't in there, but maybe it was because he wasn't in there. Tyrone says, you're drunk. They played against Tua. Calm down. Tyrone says, we need TJ. Cody says, guy got a point. Lindsay says, shut the fuck up, Cody. Tortilla one at a time, guys. We can't double team Watt. It's unfair. Speaking of double, let me just get into this real quick. I watched it again. Did anybody see the 8 guys? I know we brought this up yesterday, but did anybody watch that footage and go back and watch Darnell Washington take on 8 guys? 8. There was 8. 8 guys. It was trying to take Darnell Washington down. I've never seen anything like it. It was ultimately 8 guys when it was said and done. This dude, come on. To have a monster like this, you got to take advantage, because if he was somewhere else, somebody else would be taking advantage. That's all I'm saying. If you have a guy that nobody could take down by themselves, if they don't get the ball so many times a game, you're losing. You fail as a coach or a coordinator or whatever. 8. There was 8 when that play was ultimately blown dead. 8 guys in on that tackle. Unbelievable. I love Darnell Washington. Love. He may be my next jersey. I don't know. Let's see. We're going to go right here. 7. Tyrone says, Jamal. Ignoring I don't know what's going on, dude. I'm not ignoring anything. If it isn't popping up, I'm not sure on that, dude. 007 says, what do you know, clown? Your mom and dad. Oh, where'd it go? Your mom and dad are cousins. Is little Tater still in here? I haven't seen him write anything for a while. Tater. Gang. Yeah, man. Gang. No, yeah, I'm not sure. Jamal, I'm not sure, dude. Jen says this. Dumb shit Sanders. RB, we need TJ to run past ball carriers to put up on the quarterback as the run goes for 11 yards. And let me ask you this. Here's a good point. Here's a question of something that we brought up yesterday briefly in another aspect. Guys, I seen one of the Pittsburgh writers ask this question over the past 24 hours. I kind of made fun of it, and we kind of laughed and had a joke about it yesterday. But Aaron Rodgers on the Yinzer push, one of the writers made a good point. Why not? Because here's the thing. He's standing there with his hand in his pockets. He has his hand warmer on. So for one, you would say, well, he's back there in case there's a botched snap, a fumble. Well, for one, he's back there with his hands in his pockets. For two, his legs are spread like a tripod. So for one, let's say the ball is fumbled. Is Aaron Rodgers going to make a play? Is he gonna jump on a ball that's fumbled with that broken wrist? I don't know. So why not use him as another blocker, or bring in another big body, or somebody else to push? Going 10 on 11 doesn't seem logical when you have one guy standing there cheerleading. Again, we were successful with the Yinzer push this past week, but at the end of the day, him standing there giving air traffic control signs while the team is being outnumbered by the other team, I don't think is logical. Yes, I mean, you could always make the argument he's back there in case something goes wrong. But again, just picture how he's standing there. The game goes fast. Come on, I don't know. Again, and this kind of was spun off of something we did talk about yesterday. We talked about this momentarily, but that's a great point that was made. Wouldn't you rather have another big body in there, shoving, pushing, blocking? I don't know. That's just me. I thought it was very interesting when I caught that article. And again, it's fine and good until it doesn't work. It's fine and dandy until we can't get that first down on fourth, or the touchdown on the goal line on fourth down, and we turn it over. I'm just saying. What's the advantage of that? It's literally doing nothing. All right, we're going to go right here. Or right there. We need TJ Watt. Okay, we got that. Tyrone. Don't even know his stats with your goofy ass. My fault. Jamal Tortilla, RB, 7 sacks for 158 million. Seems like a good deal. I mean, that's debatable. You know the arguments. We've seen them all. If somebody would come to you and say, "Hey, I'm going to give you a guy that's going to get you 7 sacks next year. Could you pay him $158 million?" Do you make the same decision with hindsight 2020? Tyrone says this. Tyrone says, "Hi, Smith does that sometimes too." Armac, what's up, bro? Always great seeing Armac on the terrible board. He says, "Howdy." Lindsay said, "That's a great deal." She said, "I will take that. I will take it." Jamal says, "Laugh my ass off. I knew I could count on you, Tortilla." Tyrone, one off year ago cry. Yinzer Joe, I don't think we need Lazard. We got guys now stepping in. Also, Lazard only caught 1 touchdown this season. We don't need more guys to take production away from the other who are producing. Here's an interesting statistic, guys. Let me just jump out real quick and jump back in. I think you might like this one. Can you name the 2 players? Can you name the 2 players that caught passes? I'm sorry. Can you name the 2 players that caught passes from Aaron Rodgers on both the Packers and the Steelers, guys? Kind of a mid-show trivia real quick. Can you name the 2 players that caught passes from Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh and Green Bay? Throw it up on the board if you do have it. It's just going to be a quick lightning round one more time. Can you name the 2 players that caught passes from Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh and Green Bay? There's 2 names I'm looking for. Throw it up if you got it. Let me go up on a couple of these messages as you do try to guess. Tyrone, he's saying on MVS. MVS obviously is one. He caught a touchdown pass from him on Monday and also in Green Bay. So that is correct. One other player caught a pass from Aaron Rodgers in both Green Bay and Pittsburgh. So take a moment, throw that up there if you think you got it. DK Metcalf, Cody says that is incorrect. Which is, it's fine, man. It's, you know what, it's kind of a tough question. It's tough in its own way. So it's no wrong question. No wrong answer. Sorry. Jamal says, yeah. Too late, Tyrone. RB says, TJ does it every play. You don't get paid $150 million to get 7 sacks and ignore your run gap 85% of the time. RB saying, can we pay anybody more money to have him do less? I think is what he's saying. Tyrone says, the fuck what? Better put some fucking respect on his name. Ben Sco is not correct. Jamal and also Bingo says Benny Sco. So far, nobody got it on the board yet. Mike Tomlin for life. Mike Tomlin for life is what Tortilla is saying on the board. To a bench, yes, man. And that, like I was mentioning, that throws a little bit of a wrench in the clockwork for the draft. Now, not only the Raiders and the Jets are going to be ahead of us looking for their franchise QB, now the Dolphins might fall into that category as well. Let's see. All right, let me get you the answer on that question, guys. The question was this: who are the 2 players, the only 2 players to caught passes from Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay and Pittsburgh? MVS was predicted. That is correct. The other player? Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers also with that completed pass to himself just a couple weeks back. He did it in Green Bay 3 times through his tenure in Green Bay. So Aaron Rodgers himself is the second player. Aaron Rodgers and Juan Valdez-Scantling are the 2 players on the Steelers that caught passes from Aaron Rodgers on both Green Bay and the Steelers. In a sense, it was tricky. I told you that out front, but yes, Aaron Rodgers caught a few of his own passes back in his Packer days. So let's get back on it here. I'm going to go right here where Somber says this: I would laugh a lot less if the Browns didn't exist. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I truly don't dislike them, and I truly don't wish for their demise. When they're not around, it's just not as funny. I don't know. I enjoyed the humor that the Browns bring. And you know what? That Tater Tot, I don't see him anywhere. He must have left. Jamal, he says, I like Lazard. I wanted him early. You know what? A lot of us did, dude. I really did. But like I said, now that you're actually filling out the positions, the spots, you bring in one more guy, and then what are you going to do? We're going to, you know what? I just, I don't know. I don't know. I like him. I would like him if he was on our team. I would not be upset. It's the timing on this is so effed up because we just went 2 freaking seasons without any wide receiver too. And now all of a sudden we got names that we considered all along coming out the ass, and now we got to make decisions. So we'll see how that plays out. Armac, what's good, Steeler gang? The usual's in the house. You know it, baby. The guys always love having the guys by. Tyrone says, I do too. But Miller, Cody says, haha, this guy, you've been ignoring us for a week now. Black Magic, I knew it. Jamal, I'm sorry, Tyrone. Now he just locked up in the dog pound. Lindsay like too. Jamal, so I get the cold shoulder. Oh, there's Tater. He got them dumb little he had the dumb little colors on there with his hearts there. The orange and all right. Tater was still around at least here a little bit ago. Armax, start fresh with the quarterback or run it back with Rodgers one more season. You know what? I think I'd like Rodgers back next year. In either direction, too. Because, again, if you're going to get somebody in the draft, or if you're going to work with Howard, or you need Rodgers to start, I think that would probably be, again, yes, he's 40, he'll be 43 next December. But, again, compared to anything that we tried over the past 5 years, this is head and shoulders more successful. And, again, I say in a transition stage, not, I don't put him in the cement saying, this is my guy, we're sticking with him, this is what it, no, he's 43 years old. I wouldn't mind if he came back next year to kind of do what he does now, to lead the way, to kind of get the younger person evolved and up to where they need to be, or, whoever it would be, the draftee or Will Howard. So at this point, I wouldn't hate it. It could certainly be a lot worse. We've seen that. And if we find something that works and get rid of it, who would we be like? Is there another city that's about an hour and a half away from here that does that all the time? And that just, I'm just saying, it's working for us. Don't fix it. Again, I understand we don't have our veteran quarterback, or our franchise quarterback. That's still in the works. It's going to happen when it happens. But right now, this is probably the best situation we could be in. I think there's a couple big names that moved last year in the offseason that I would have not had a problem with coming to Pittsburgh, but that didn't happen. They went to other cities. So for what it is what it is. And this is where we be, and this is as good as we looked in sometimes. So we'll take it. And again, if it's working with younger players, the guy knows his shit, Aaron. A weird dude, but he knows his shit. Vanilla Cody. Armax says, who's Cody? Mark Malone says, we beat San Diego at home. We have a chance. Absolutely. Because, again, if you don't get listen, the only team that I really don't like the matchup on is Buffalo. Yes, they're not that great this year. It's not the same team. But I talk about these matchups, and that's just one of the teams that they match up. When they beat us, they find ways every time. If we could beat San Diego, L.A., get us somebody in the second round. It's not Buffalo. Have Buffalo get knocked out on the other side of the, other side of the AFC part of our bracket. I'm just saying, in football, a lot of people might say, well, that you don't want that to be the case. You don't want it because other teams. Well, you know what? If that's how it goes, that's how it goes. The Steelers won the Super Bowl when Tom Brady was out all year with his knee or shoulder, whatever the hell it was. You don't see us giving that hardware back. I got to be, you know what I'm saying? So if it plays out this way, it is what it is. I'm not going to hate it if that be the case. Lindsay says, put some respect on Cody's name. John says, Ryan, possibly yes, likely no. I will still ride for them, root for. That's where I'm at, dude. That's where I'm at. Again, 31 teams lose. At the end of the day, we can't, Miss Pittsburgh thinks Miss Pittsburgh thinks I think so. I think Aaron got something to say. He's going to take us to the promised land. Let's go. And I love the fact that we still have this confidence in our team. And you know what, guys, we were in first place all year. Pull a game out of the first 14 games of the year, whatever it's been. We were in first place all year. Say what you want. We overexceeded. We were supposed to be in the basement. under the Ravens, under the Bengals, right down there with the Browns. The Browns are down there. But you know what? The Steelers find ways. And again, I like the optimism that I am seeing from a lot of fans. It's encouraging. And it helps me stay optimistic. And then I can help you stay optimistic. We could all be excited about this Pittsburgh Steelers team through the stretch. Again, December, rocky usually. So far, 2-0. Miss Pittsburgh, here we go. That's right. Here we go. Also, Yinzer Joe says all the team has to do is get red hot and better at the right time and make a. And ain't that the key in the playoffs? Get hot at the right time. If you get hot in January, man. And then one of my other comment I do want to make, it was brought to my attention. I have to go back on a couple of mistakes that I did make over the past couple of days. I acknowledge that I made them. Yesterday, Denver, I said that they were the 1 seed when we beat them back in 2005. It was brought to my attention, and I did know this, but I had forgot they were actually the 2 seed. Denver back in 2005 was the 2 seed. Indianapolis was number 1. We got them in the second round. First round, we played the number 3 seed Cincinnati, beat them 34-17. Second round, we beat the number 1 seed Indianapolis Colts. We beat them 21-18. Third round, we beat the 2 seed Denver in the AFC Championship game, also beat them 34-17 before going on and beating the number 1 seed from the NFC, the Seattle Seahawks, 21-10, of course. But just a few mistakes. You might hear me pop in at some point during the broadcast and just kind of go back on a few mistakes because, again, I don't want to lead anybody astray and give any wrong information out. And, again, if I do, I apologize, and I'll certainly try to make right by it and fix that. So Denver was the number 2 seed 20 years ago when the Steelers made that amazing Super Bowl run. All right, let's jump back on the board. All right, yeah. Okay, here we go. Somber says, stop BSing and kick it at least one day out of the week at Jamal. Also, Wade Johnson says he hasn't been impressed by Thielen. You know what I think about Thielen? If he and listen, I'm not a Viking fan by any means, but if you followed his career, he's always been good. He was an All-Pro a couple years as a wide receiver. To be an All-Pro, that's an accomplishment. If you're not a big name, and also it's the veteran savviness, I think, that's playing more of an advantage than his actual skill set, which I think his skill set is solid. But again, I think it's just something to Aaron, having these veterans around him and knowing that routes are going to be ran correctly or adjusted correctly, or the soft zones might be found a little bit easier and quicker by the veterans who know what they're looking for. It just seems to me like the level of comfortability for Aaron Rodgers in the game Monday night with those 2 gentlemen in the offense as well, it just went such a long way. And again, yes, Thielen only had 1 catch for 7 yards. Yes, Juan Valdez-Scantling, he had his 1 touchdown on 1 catch, which is minimal, 2 catches. But at the end of the day, I can see the difference in Aaron Rodgers just having those players out there, opposed to wondering if somebody's going to cut somebody else off in a pattern in the end zone. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of times that there's shit that happened. You think, man, if we actually had, a quality playmaker running these routes, maybe it would have been different. But I think that's what it is about Adam Thielen. I think it's the intangibles. But again, I do think he's solid overall. Again, had a solid career. If you look at his numbers, he's been a solid wide receiver his whole career. His blocking looked great. If you go back and watch some of the All-22, he made a couple huge blocks, key blocks throughout the period of the game that allowed some, I think, I can't remember which play it was, but it was a big play. Maybe one of Darnell's big plays or John or somebody. But Thielen certainly made a key block that wouldn't have allowed the play to continue had he not. So, again, is he the best guy out there? Is he the best option? Probably not. Are there people you'd rather have before Thielen? Absolutely. But again, for what it is, let's make it work and use his strengths to our advantage. Somber says, stop. Let's see. Stop BSing at least one day. Jamal, come over. Jamal, relationships, man, nothing personal. My girl will really be on my ass and taking the fun out of it. That's all. I think we could all laugh at that, right, guys? With you, of course. Not like the Browns where we laugh at them. We're laughing with you on this one. Let's see. Armax says Adam Thielen blocking us. I couldn't agree more. his blocking has been really so far. In the minimal dose that we've got. Wade Johnson once is Miami. You know what they did? Miami won 4 games. I mean, albeit it was against the Jets twice and the Saints and somebody else. They did win 4 games. They were running the shit out of the ball. And guess what? The team that had a problem stopping the run was able to step in and stop them. And again, was up 28-3. Had it not been for the 2 fourth quarter touchdowns by Waller, that would have been the final count. It should have been 28-3, which is a pretty impressive win, if you ask me. Tortilla says Adam runs his routes and actually blocks. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. He does a lot of those things that when you look into his play, you're like, wow, that's a play that wasn't being made. Ooh, that wasn't being done by this guy. There's a lot that Adam Thielen brings to the table that goes beyond the eye. I do believe that. And again, he had a solid career, guys. Not hating on him just yet. Let's let him F up something first. Let's see. I'm sorry. Austin gets clamped. Absolutely. Jamal, yeah. At had been blocking. Adam Thielen been blocking, but I would like another receiver to go. Hey, I have no problem with that, man. But like I said, I'm just starting to think, are they just going to get to that point where they're like, okay, well, we got 2 more receivers now. Do we still have to go on and try to look for more? Again, if you ask me, bring them, more playmakers, the better. Let's say MVS doesn't have a good day. Maybe Lazar can. What if Thielen, is sick next week, like a lot of guys are? We got players missing because they're sick. Jalen Warren actually played. He said he was as sick as he'd ever been playing. Then you guess what? You have a playmaker. Whether they start, whatever the case may be, having the extra playmaker, I think, is invaluable, especially heading down this stretch, heading into the playoffs, right? Steeler Freak says, actually, fans like the Rams will be more butthurt if they don't win because they expect. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. But you know what? You got to like the Rams, though. What are they doing over there? They might be the best team in the league, and Matt Stafford might be the MVP. I mean, they're doing something pretty awesome out there. They're the NFC, so I don't mind talking about them like that just yet, giving them their flowers. But they're looking good. The Rams are looking really good, actually. Tyrone says Tortilla. No, he runs his routes and blocks too. Armax says Jamal, how do you feel about Lazard? Tyrone says we want Lazard cut back. Right? What is with Miller? What does he have on the GM? What does he have on the coach? What does he have on anybody? Because for some reason they love this Scotty Miller, and for a guy that does absolutely nothing, I can't justify loving him. You might as well put him in on the Yinzer tush too, and let him stand back there and point in different goofy directions. The Scotty Miller is one of the biggest mysteries for me. You could have went out and got one of these other guys in the offseason. You didn't even have to go out and blow all your money on a receiver. You could have got somebody in the last 2 years. Tortilla, as soon as we signed Adam, out popped an off. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of little things that you don't see about a player like Thielen. And again, he wasn't always that. He was a playmaker in the beef in the hardy part of his career. So again, the guy knows, like Aaron and like MVS. You get that. You're a veteran. You know your shit, man. For the most part, you should. Tyrone says Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch. Ooh, Brian Branch is a good one. I know that. Tortilla, got to watch the game. Johnson, Yinzer Joe, Aiden Hutchinson's a dog. Oh, dude, Aiden Hutchinson's always been a beast. He was out of Michigan. He's never left the state. He was a Michigan beast. He's in Detroit now, being a beast. Going to need 4 guys to block him. Tyrone says, wasn't just that. LOL. He'd be out there when he's on the field too. Watch the game. Johnson. Jamal says, don't forget the GOAT at Somber. Armax says, I think they did give up on Roman. There's no other explanation. And the thing is about Roman, how many times did you see him go out there and make a catch, make a big play, catch the ball deep? There wasn't much that I'm not seeing, but again, Aaron is Aaron. And some of these questions we might not have answers to for some time. And then they go out and bring in 2 veterans, and now he's hitting these guys. And again, Roman Wilson is a mystery last year. And it's weird because it's just prolonged itself. Yes, he was out his whole rookie year with the injury situation, and who knows who's injured the whole season. I don't know if that was the case. He was out, but then this season, the way they're playing him and not playing him, I don't know what's going on with Roman Wilson, and it makes you wonder what direction that takes you come draft time as far as trying to figure out what it is that you need in the draft. You know, a lot of people say get them wide receivers early, get somebody very talented, a playmaker, but where does he play in? Where does Roman Wilson play in? It's hard to say. Cody at Jamal Pat Fryermuth 2 weeks ago, Gang says it all somber. We'll see what happens with Roman in this offseason. This season is cooked for him. He gone. That's what Tyrone says. Tyrone also says, wouldn't be surprised if they release him today for Lazard. Dude, why wouldn't they at this point? Why wouldn't you get rid of Scotty Miller, who literally does nothing, and not go out and grab Lazard? If you're serious about making a run, you can't sit on your hands. You guys think that they're going to make more moves? Again, 2.5 weeks till the regular season is over. Believe it or not, you guys think that we're going to make some moves? I think he was talking about Scotty Miller, somber on that release. Tortilla says third round pick for the streets. Tyrone says Wilson. Tyrone says or Miller. Armax says Tortilla with the avatar change. Somber, there's an empty spot on the practice. So there is. But there was also a lot of guys that came in yesterday, too, as we mentioned early on in the show. Hendon Hooker, of course, from Tennessee. Everybody remembers that name. He was also in town yesterday trying out with the Steelers. Tyrone, but to activate him, somber, they don't need to release anyone at the moment. Jamal says he's Pat, even played the last 3 weeks. Tyrone, he did all right versus Miami. A few big catches. Everybody hate for real. Jamal, Pat is one, wide receiver one. No, but you know what? Pat isn't wide receiver one, but you know who is? Kenneth Gainwell. Gainwell did overtake DK Metcalf 4 receptions on the team. He is the leading pass catcher for your Pittsburgh Steelers, guys. So that's what's happening. Sommer says it's funny how in the beginning of the season, everyone was like, I want Aaron, but I don't want him to bringing in all these guys. And here we are. Good point. Tyrone says if it helps, I'm cool with it for real. Also, Tyrone says he has looked better than the last 2 weeks. We got like 4 GMs, Tortilla says. Jamal says, yeah, I've seen him with a few good catches. I prefer him for that role. Somber says at the detriment of the team's future, because none of those dudes have a future here, including Rodgers. Tyrone says, yes, this season. I'm cool with it. Armax says, I feel like they have misused him last year, even before his injury. Mark Malone says, Herbig out likely. Is that new information we're getting, Mark? Because the scoop was they're going to start him off slow, see how the week plays out, and go from there. So, I mean, if you are getting that scoop, we'll let everybody know. Mark is saying that Herbig is likely out. Armax says, I heard a rumor that they wanted Shock in the draft. Shock. Mark says, okay, we don't know that yet. That's what Tyrone says. Mark says, I'm telling you. Okay, so we're still waiting on the confirmation on that. Darnell the Tank. I love Darnell the Tank. Tortilla says, that was the best play I ever seen. Somber also says the Steelers are re-signing wide receiver John Rhys Plumlee to the practice squad after being released yesterday. I was going to say, I didn't even get the information out about him being released yesterday. But he did get released from the practice squad yesterday. John Rhys Plumlee, of course, was the versatile quarterback, running back, wide receiver, punt return, whatever. He did it all in college. He's been on and off with our practice squad a lot this year. And that comment, it says, per source, looks like it was just some kind of paper transaction for him, according to Alan Saunders. Tyron says, too early in the week to determine that. You might be right. Let's be positive. Somber says, practice squad is full again. It didn't last long. Yinzer Joe says, I can't see picking up Lazard. Who are they releasing? Miller is on special teams. They won't give up on Wilson this soon. I don't think Lazard plays special teams. Steelers like multi-position players. That's a good point, Joe. Cody says Darnell Washington could go to Japan and destroy a whole. Hey, he's King Kong. He is Godzilla. Which one was in Japan? King Kong. No, Godzilla. Godzilla was Japan, right? And weren't they all in Japan? I don't know, but you're right. He could destroy major cities. This guy, believe me. Yep, somebody's getting released. Somber says I bought the Darnell Washington Angry Runs T-shirt. Did you really? That's pretty nice, man. I did see some of those. Lindsay says doubtful we're getting Lazard. Armax says they got Angry Run shirts for DK. Hey, look, Tater Tot's still here. Mark Malone says need a Sco Dirt T-shirt. Jamal laughed my ass off. Not you, Goat Ryan, gang. I'm just trolling the. I know, man. You cool. Let's see. A-Rod's the Goats. What Tyrone's saying. Tyrone or Vegas. What's up, dude? Always great seeing Vegas on the board. Vegas, nice seeing you, dude. Tortilla says Rodgers is there to intimidate the defense. Maybe that's what it is. Mark Malone, eventually they're going to flip him the ball back for a quick toss. Wade Johnson 1 says both of the new acquisitions made big plays versus Miami. Samuel and Valdez. Excuse me. RB says Rodgers is back there because as one point they are going to pitch it to him and hit someone down the seam. You know what? That flies. That flies. I mean, if that's what they're going to do, don't waste the opportunity. You know. Somber says, I guarantee Rodgers standing back there is Tomlin's call. It just seemed very Tomlin-like. I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what that means, but I do. You know what I mean? Just get a vibe. It would have been Chuck Noll like at the end of his career. It's the vibe of the team right now, and I chuckle when you say that. Look, and then Tater's over here talking about our quarterback. A Cleveland Brown fan is here talking about quarterbacks. A team that couldn't beat our quarterback for 20 years. I think the Browns beat Ben Roethlisberger 3 times. In, I don't know, it was like 30 or 40 matchups. Here he is talking shit. Cody says, that's my porno stance. Tortilla says, Rodgers probably is our best tackler for real. Somber doesn't want him getting hurt and too scared to take him off the field. Tyrone, I'm cool with that for now. Also, Kenneth, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Kenneth on the terrible board. Kenneth says, I think the tush push with Rodgers standing there is a future setup for a pass. You know what? That's second time now that's came up. That's a great point. Bingo says, I'd rather not have to rely on bullshit gimmicky plays. My argument was this. You have to kind of be cute with these gimmicky plays. We're not cute. We're ugly. We're a team that has to fight for everything that we earn. And when I say cute, I'm talking about the Kansas City. You're watching the Super Bowl with this team, and they're doing little, all these gimmicky plays, and everybody's spinning around at the line of scrimmage. I don't know if you remember that goofy thing they did a few years back. I just don't. Every once in a while, if you could pull something off, that's wonderful. But again, I just don't think we're cute enough to be playing around with gadget plays and things like this. If they work, fantastic. But again, at the end of the day, I think we stick with the X's and O's. I think we have to stick with fundamentals and just doing the small things right. And it seems that's when we're most successful. But I'm not against the gimmick play. I'm Bingo. I'm sorry. Just Learning says Rodgers back there is a setup for a trick play. Mark Malone. I also look for them to toss one out to Spencer Anderson. Mark Malone, damn, I'm stuttering and writing. You're good, brother. Tyrone says, with Watt, gets doubled most in the NFL, LOL, and also plays with 4 other good pass rushers. Armax says, I need to see another rushing Rodgers touchdown in Detroit. That would be crazy. And isn't it odd, guys, that we're heading back to Detroit where that 20-year anniversary Super Bowl was? Remember how big that was for the city of Detroit? Just saying, there's a lot of things that correlate between the 2 years. Don't get me wrong, the team I thought was a lot more prepared for a playoff run in 2005. But that team, they had to win 4 games in a row just to get in as a 6th seed. This team, I don't think, is as good personnel overall. We've been a 1 seed all year. This 20 years, a lot of correlation. Again, I'm just trying to keep the optimism going, because again, guys, there's still a lot of football left to be played, and nobody's a clear-cut runner at this point. I think if you have to take anybody at this point, I think the Rams, I want to circle them in to go to the Super Bowl. but we're gonna play it out because that's not even a shoe in either. So you gotta love it. You gotta love it, baby. That's why we're here. Tortilla says we're just sitting. Okay, gotcha on that. Wade Johnson, 1-8 rod on a quarterback sneak reminds me of Troy Polamalu in victory. You know what? But Troy is there to make a play if something happens. That's my only problem with Aaron doing what he's doing. And like I said, he has his hands in his warmers and his legs are spread apart and he's ready to do, I just, again, another guy. If that play doesn't work for us, let's say in the playoffs, we're on the 1 yard line, it's 4th and 1, and we need to score, and we don't make it. And Aaron Rodgers is standing back here when you could have had another 300-pound guy here making a way or somebody behind him pushing to get that. Then, you know what? Then we're going to start saying, Aaron, what's he doing? So again, it hasn't hurt us yet, but wait till that moment when it does. I think that's when you're like, we could have certainly used another person with a push or a block or something like that, something of any relevance at all. The fact that we have one player that has absolutely zero relevance and we're going against a team that has one more player than us kind of gives them the advantage, I would think. I mean, numbers are makes sense. Let's go right here. Benny Sco. Okay, they're getting into the trivia part. Vegas says, who is this guy that's never been in my kitchen? Who's this guy that's never been in my kitchen? Joe says Rodgers and Smith could just be putting something on tape. They have to give the appearance that they might pass the ball so the defenses don't sell out, or don't put them out there. Yeah. Is that what it is though? Or is that what we're are we that calculated? Does it seem like the Steelers are that deep into the thought of I don't know. Maybe they are. So the defenses don't sell out, and maybe they throw a fake play later. And again, if that happens and plays out and it's successful, I think we all celebrate. So, all right, I hear you. Dirty. Bingo says that was dirty as fuck. Clever Tortilla. He knew Vanilla Thunder couldn't Google that one. That's right. I have to find questions that Vanilla can't Google. That's the trick. Tyrone says, Ryan, don't worry about 14 this week. We got him checked. Welfare check for Tater. Welfare check for Tater. Gang, my man. Also, Jamal says, man, we about to win the Super Bowl. Ryan Armack, I'm sorry, he says it's like the 2008-09 Cardinals in a way. Tyrone says, here we go, Steelers. We're going to the Super Bowl, baby. Here we go. Lindsay says, I hope we beat these Lions. And as we were getting closer, again, I'm starting to say, why not us? But then, you know what? A game comes back to me like that Charger game on a Sunday night or the Buffalo game where I thought, you know what? These are good teams as long as we can hang. And then what happened. And then you go back to square one and you're like, that's right. We have these issues. We have that issue. We don't have this. So, it's a struggle. We struggle as fans just as much as the players do. We do. Armax says, Ryan, what do you think about NBA Youngboy? I don't know much about her. Jamal says, here we go, Steelers. Look at this. Look at little Tater Tot. He says Lions 38, the Steelers 10. Armax says 28-24. Tyrone, I'll be in Cleveland next weekend. Dude, that's great, man. I'm excited. Hopefully it will stay decent. Again, it might be in the 40s next week, and it won't be down in the frigid teens and in the single digits. Tyrone says 30-27 Steelers. Tortilla, we've been winning since Tater been here. That's true. Can we trade? Listen, can we? I just got an idea. Cody, you just gave me a great idea. Can we? Or Tortilla gave me the great idea. Can we trade Tater for Derpy? Let's give the Browns Derpy and take Tater. At least Tater shows up. I'll give him that. Tater's reliable. He's here every day. The hell's Derpy's excuse? I want to trade. Let's put Derpy on the trade block, guys. That's true. Ever since Derpy Tater's been here, we've been winning. Let's see. ASA, a safe guy. Are we getting too excited about beating Mahia? Absolutely. Absolutely. But, I guess ultimately that's part of join your team, right? I mean, the real ones know. We know what the writing is on the wall. And again, you hope for the best. And like the 6th seed in the 05 and the Cardinals in 09 and, I mean, or could just give up like some of the media types in Pittsburgh and gave up 4 weeks ago. I'm done with this team. I'm done. I'm done for the year, is what they said. So as long as they're in, I'm in. You know, are we stupid for being optimistic again? 31 teams lose every year. There's only one winner. Follow your team. Have fun with it, guys. Don't let it make you miserable. Mark Malone says not many wide receivers are all pro. That's true. McCaffrey was one back for Denver. Adam Thielen, a couple along the way. So again, yeah, you do have a white receiver that was an all pro. That's a plus. That's a plus. Somber says need to see consistency. And that's what a win this week would bring, right? Not only a win against Detroit, but it would show some consistency. Yes, you beat that rival Raven team in a big game that meant a lot. Yes, you went out and won a game that you were supposed to big. If beating Detroit means anything, yes, it's going to be, you know what, you beat a good team, but winning 3 games in a row in that third game, being Detroit on the road can be huge. So yes, to answer your question, we are definitely being a little too excited about beating Miami at home. But again, you know, Jamal says, for sure, bro, that's Somber. I'm on the next time you hook it up. Somber says, let's fucking go, bro. Wade Johnson says this, Steelers cut Adam Thielen. If we lose that touchdown, avoiding DK. Or wait, where did that go? I don't know. It just switched out on me. Hold on. Okay, Steelers cut Adam Thielen if we lose that onside kick. Yeah, you ain't kidding. It bounced right through his arms, and I thought, yeah, he's not going to be here long. WVS Kenneth, my man, always great seeing Kenneth. He says WVS actually adjusted his route on that touchdown, avoiding DK. Okay. Let's see. Jamal says, right Discord fun. Jamal Shiesty Bates. What up, Shiesty Bates? I do want to say welcome to Shiesty Bates on the terrible board. Shiesty says this, it's not the playmakers, it's the coaching. They aren't prepared to play consistently and the plays are outdated. I don't disagree with any of that. I don't disagree with any of that, ultimately. I feel it's very, very similar to the latter part of Chuck Noll's career. Everything was outdated. He was very successful early. He never changed from that. And again, he became very outdated and, very similar to what's going on now, Shiesty. Good comment. Tyrone says, I'll help you get on there. Lindsay says, yeah, Tyrone is great at it. Also, Shiesty says this, I also do Steelers content and would love if anyone checked me out. Great to see fellow Steelers Nation. Great to have you, Shiesty. Somber says, yeah, I saw that 45-second live Jamal. LOL. She was on your ass. Yeah, I stopped by too, brother. Cody says this, Jamal, you're still in the doghouse, Bromingo. Bromigo, the truth, 37-32. My goodness, you guys finally see you can't win one receiver and 4 tight win with finally. No, we've been seeing it all along for 2 years. Believe me, it ain't us. Everybody in this is involved here. We've seen this. All the way from when Brandon Ayuk was, the question 2 years ago when we only had George Pickens. And then there was about 6 seconds where we had 2 wide receivers. And then they sent George off to Dallas. But, that's absolutely, it's totally something that we've noticed here and been saying. Shiesty, I do want to say thank you, brother. If Shiesty says this, he says, I post Steel content as well. Looking for more interaction. Would love to debate disagreements on stream. Best of luck to you, man. You too, brother. I appreciate that, sir. It'll go good use. It'll go right into the show. Thank you to Shiesty. Cody says this, you have to say, I understand works every time. End of days. End of days says this, the closer we get to game time, I'm feeling the Steelers will win by 31-10. I like that. The truth says, give A-Rod weapons. Give A-Rod weapons all he needs, not tight ends. I know. Come on. The tight end thing is done. It's up. This is week 16. Get this tight end shit out of here unless you're giving the ball to Washington. And the other guys can make plays too. But again, it's ridiculous you built your team around tight ends and then you don't use them right. Come on. Just give us playmakers. It's December. Let us make a run. Quit weighing us down. Let's go right here. And I'm sorry, Cody. Cody says, Shiesty, that's my dog. But boy, you know I'm really Shiesty. Shiesty says, Shiesty Bates is the channel. If anyone is interested, go check him out, everybody. He sounds like a really nice person. Here we go, Steelers. That's Shiesty. Are you a real Steeler fan? Lindsay wants to know. We don't want any no lies and deceit, no deception. For Shiesty. Big bro, let's see. Somber. Didn't Mercedes Lewis get released by the Broncos? Might as well sign him too. Subscribe. Yes, he is. Lindsay said you thought that about someone else too. Cody says, with that answer, I subbed. Let's get into some a few different talking points, guys, as we move on. We're at that point of the show already, believe it or not. These guys been awesome on the board. Lots of messages, and I loved it. That's what we do, baby. That's what we do. Here we go. All right, here we go, guys. Now, I know this isn't a popular one, but I'm going to get it out there. And basically, it's going to bring up, it's going to surface things from earlier, which I think that we're all kind of putting to the side now. But I do want to take 1 minute to talk about Coach T getting this. If he does win one more game, guys, this will be the 21st season overall. Yes, Coach got his 19 years, but for the Steelers, 21 years in a row without not having a losing record, which is something else. I mean, we had to tell Tater Tot about. Geez, oh man, when was the last time they had a winning record? But get this, guys. Say what you want. But 21st, this will be the 21st year if we win one more game. And that, guys, is tied with Dallas all time. They had it one time. They had 21 straight non-losing seasons. And the New England Patriots, they did it as well. So, again, whether you like Tomlin, whether you don't, whether you think he's doing a great job, whether you don't, whether you think that them keep bringing this particular record up, it is what it is. It's going to be Steeler record and Steeler lore for the rest of time. So, again, it is kind of something that we'll take. And you know what? It was a success. And, we're proud of it as well. And, again, Mike Tomlin, guys, over 500 or 500 or better for the 21st straight years, the Steelers. A couple years less than that overall as for Mike Tomlin. But again, Dallas did it 21 times. So we tied that. We'll be the top there. And again, New England did it 19 times. So the Steelers do sit atop that number as well. Also, while I'm talking about Coach T, he passed, who did he pass? He passed somebody the other day, but he's only like two wins shy of Chuck Noll all time, guys. I don't know if anybody realizes this is where that's at with him as well. Who did he pass? He passed Dan Reeves on the all-time win list. Now he's number 10 overall. And again, I get what everybody's saying. I get the staleness. I get the non-preparedness. But again, at the end of the day, guys, some of these numbers have never been done by anybody else. So do what you want with that. Again, he moves to number 10. Chuck Noll's number 9 overall with victories as a head coach. I think either 2 or 3 more. There it is. 193 for Chuck Noll, 191 for Coach Tomlin. Numbers 9 and 10 on the top 10 list. So, again, love them, hate them, whatever you want to do. Those numbers will never go anywhere about our Steelers, guys, and for our Steelers. Funny news, ex-player, ex-Pittsburgh Steeler, Devin Bush. Devin Bush gets acquitted, guys. Remember, he got arrested not that long ago, and he was having some legal issues. Devin Bush, that's right. Devin Bush acquitted of assaulting his girlfriend during a dispute over mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes, guys. I don't know the details of the story. I don't know what the hell happened with these potatoes. But again, this is, in fact, the article. Devin Bush was acquitted Tuesday on assaulting his girlfriend during a dispute over mashed potatoes. If anybody has details on this mashed potato fight, please let me know. I have to know what the hell is going on with that. But that is what happened. He is acquitted. Devin Bush is now done in Pittsburgh. He could worry about his affairs in Cleveland with Tater and company over there. But yes, he did get acquitted, guys, from assaulting his old lady over some mashed potatoes. Again, if anybody has any detail on that, I'd love to hear it. Let me take a look down the list here, make sure there's nothing else that we are forgetting. Oh yes, and one other thing I didn't mention yesterday as well. Aaron Rodgers did move into the third. I think that I might have. I don't know, but it was mentioned on TV the other night. Aaron Rodgers became the third most multiple passing touchdown thrower in NFL history. So the other night when he had multiple touchdowns, that moved him up to third all time. Again, he's a Packer. He lived a Packer. He's going to retire a Packer. But at the end of the day, guys, these are some Steeler news and notes that will certainly be in our history books moving forward and so forth. Again, we'll always look back at this, even 30 years down the road when Aaron Rodgers is said, when he's gone, we'll say, well, you know what? Look what the Steelers did this, the Steelers did that. Remember that year Aaron was there. So again, these accomplishments for Aaron, some's taking away from some of our Steelers. Some again is it's not so good for him. Good on him. Third all time in multiple touchdown pass throwing games. So congratulations to him on that as well. All right, here's one. Here's a good one I want to bring up before we do start to wrap things up. Calvin Austin III. We talked about him briefly a little bit ago, a little bit about Austin at receiver. This comment was, and we knew this. We said this going into the game. We said this all last week. We said these guys that are living in Miami, South Florida, 75 degrees all week long, they're never going to be able to come up into Pittsburgh in December and stay on the field with the Steelers. They're just not. Getting 53 millionaires in the mood to play football at 5 degrees and bang their bodies up. Yes, they are professional football players, but more importantly, they're human. And I got to be honest with you, this comment confirmed our what we were predicting, and we were thinking about this game. This is what Calvin Austin III said about that. Calvin Austin says he pinpoints the moment the Steelers saw a real quit from Miami. He says this. He says, when we were pulling away in the third quarter, he says you could tell they didn't really want to be in the cold anymore. So again, you know what? It was right around that point. If you think about it, first quarter close, 0-0. Second halftime comes up. It was 7-3. Third quarter, that's when the Dolphins got to go in, get warm, and come back out again. That's when I'm guessing they realized I don't want to be here anymore. It is too fucking cold. I want to get my ass back on the plane and head to Miami, South Florida, and enjoy life. Calvin Austin, guys, again points that out. He says he says this is what he said. He says I could point it out. He says we've seen real quit in Miami in that third quarter. So that's my guess, guys. It was after they went in, got warmed up, and then came back out. It makes sense if you think about it, because again, that weather that we just had the other day, it hurt. It hurt to be outside. It hurts your skin. As soon as it touches you, it hurts. And I understand entirely. And I've seen a lot of these guys from Miami. They came up early and had a few practices out in the cold, and then some guys come out with no sleeves on, and you'll learn. You'll learn. I mean, the badasses do it. Don't get me wrong. Mike Webster never wore anything under his shirt, but again, when you're a Miami team, you get acclimated. You get acclimated to that South Florida weather. Guys, I do think that is everything on my notes. I do know this as well. Tony Romo and Jim Nantz will be calling the game on 425 for the Steelers at the Detroit Lions on Sunday. This Week 16 matchup between the Steelers and Lions, between two 8-6 teams fighting and jockeying for playoff, not only their positioning, but their playoff lives, guys. So again, that's this week. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, 425 for the Steelers at the Lions. You know what? I'm gonna get in a couple of these interesting numbers that I did have from last game, and then we're gonna leave the Dolphins behind and totally be ready to head into this Detroit game, guys. But as always, I do like getting this list of interesting numbers and stats and information from the game. Let's look at a couple of these. Finally, with a 13-point victory over the Dolphins, the Steelers' point differential is back to being in positive. It went from -3 to a +10. So last week, we've kind of, again, playing around 500. It is what it is. Some days are bad, some days are good, but it's all right around 500. The Steelers are back up over the positives in the point differential on the season. right here. I'm going to go. All right. Despite a red hot running game, Miami rushed for just one first down against Pittsburgh. Guys, this team was supposed to annihilate us on the ground. No TJ Watt, the running game of Miami. I mean, it was supposed to be a disaster. One first down on the run, on the ground for Miami, the fewest the Steelers have allowed since week 12 of 2023 when they gave up 0 to Cincinnati, guys. Back in 2023, week 12, the Steelers gave up 0 first downs on the ground to Cincy. This is the first time as Miami, they did it just one time, one first down on the ground. So I'd say we were prepared for that, right? You know, a lot of people, including myself, will say the Steelers aren't always prepared. They always don't seem prepared, but they came to the call. They showed up and answered that. Gainwell, let's see. Gainwell had just one game with 100+ yards from scrimmage in 14 games with Pittsburgh. Okay, in Philadelphia, he had one. Kenneth Gainwell had one game with 100+ yards from scrimmage in 14 games with Pittsburgh. He's done it 4 times. So good on Gainwell. He's been a big part of this team. I don't know if we could be where we're at without him. Hayward is the second player to do this. Okay, let me go back up here. Connor Hayward is the first Steelers non-quarterback to have at least 4 rushing attempts for no more than 4 yards in a rushing score since running back Stephen Ridley did it back in 2018. Following that, it says Hayward is only the second player to do it this season, joining Atlanta Falcons running back who had an identical line in week 8. Let me see if there's any more on this last page, and we will get ready to move forward. Here's one. The Steelers have not turned the ball over in either of their last 2 games. That's encouraging. You know, I mean, you want your team to be playing their best football at the right time. Here they are, guys. No turnovers the last 2 games. And to top it off, they are 6-0 in games this season where they don't turn the ball over. And finally, Kenneth Gainwell did overtake DK Metcalf. He is your leading receiver by receptions, as Kenneth Gainwell does have 57 receptions on the season. DK Metcalf, guys, has 55. So just a few random numbers and information from the game last week against the Miami Dolphins for the Steelers. I double check. Here we go, guys. So I do think that we are going, as we're rounding third, here we are going to get ready for the trivia time. But first of all, I do want to say we are live. We're live 5 days a week, right here, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. right here on the tube. Get your thinking hats on, guys. We do have a question of the day, and this segment, of course, is how well do you know your enemy? How well do you know your opponent? And, of course, this is going to be a Detroit Lions question because that is who we play this week, the Detroit Lions, guys. So do get your thinking hats on. I'm going to grab a couple messages, guys. You guys are freaking awesome today. I'm loving it. I'm trying to keep up with you. I promise I am. But we are going to ready to get into this question of the day. This is the question of the day. Here we go, guys. Everybody knows the beautiful Ford Field that we are going to be playing at this weekend in Detroit. We played there 20 years ago to win the Super Bowl over Seattle. But prior to that, the Seattle Seahawks played at this building from 1975 to 2001. We're going to Ford Field this week to play, but the stadium they played in from 1975 to 2001, the name of this stadium was what? Yes, we're going to the new facility, Ford Field. Played there 20 years ago. Super Bowl, wonderful place, beautiful place. But I want to know the name of the stadium before that. Where did the Detroit Lions play from 1975 to 2001 is the question of the day. Go check out our website, everybody, at www.the2dumyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumyinzers.com. Lots of cool things over there. Vanilla does put his dumb thoughts up over there. Also, links to every show. All 871 shows the 2 Dumb Yinzers ever put out. The contact information, and even if you think that this snazzy logo here right next to me on my left. Your right looks good. There's all kind of things over there with that logo on it, our merchandise store. Don't forget, go check it out at www.the2dumyinzers.com. CVS Stadium Tortilla is saying also 8 Mile. Some funny answers on the board. I'm liking the answers. Let me get moved up here. The Chrysler Center, no, the Buick Bowl is what Bingo is saying. Yinzer Joe says the Silver Dome, maybe. Somber says the 8 Mile. Armax says Ford. CVS. Anybody throw your guesses up? Maybe you know. Again, we're going up to play at Ford Field. Beautiful, beautiful Ford Field this week, guys. But I want to know, the question of the day is, where did they play at before Ford Field was built? For 26 years they did, 1975 to 2001. They played here. Tortilla saying Jamal Field. That one got my guess, my vote, if you will. Jamal Field is always sounds good. But guys, one more time, where did the Detroit Lions play? 1975 to 2001, before Ford Field did come into existence. I'm leaning toward Jamal Field. I don't know about you guys, but that's what I'm liking. I'll give you another minute here. Armax says the Detroit Superdome. Not a bad guess, guys. Keep throwing it up there. Lindsay said the FedEx Field. Good guess as well. Question of the day. We're going to be playing in the beautiful. We know it firsthand. 20 years ago, it was very beautiful. The beautiful Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan on Sunday, 4/25, sorry. But the question of the day is, where did the Detroit Lions call home for 26 years prior to Ford Field? Guys, Bingo says Silverdome sounds right. He's agreeing with Yinzer Joe. Guys, the answer is this. The stadium they played at for 26 years before Ford Field, they played at the Pontiac Silverdome. Good job, guys. Pontiac Silverdome. You did nail that one. 8 Mile. Jamal says 8 Mile. Hey, who knows? Who knows what the locations are? Could very well be. Tyrone got a kick out of that as well, guys. Let's do this. If you haven't had a chance yet, do go swing by. Check out any of our social media, guys. We are all over the internet. You can check us out on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, even TikTok. Stop by, hit the follow button, subscribe button, or even hit the like button. Give us a little support on the social media sites. It's all out there, guys, and keep up with what the two Dum Yinzers are up to on a day-to-day basis. And if you haven't had a chance yet, do click the like button down below. Hit the sub if you haven't subbed yet. Share it, or even comment if you like. We appreciate it all. It all helps with the algorithm, and certainly greatly appreciated. And finally, I also want to say, give a special thanks to the guys over at Duquesne Pilsner. These gentlemen have, they're always helping us out and doing some, in helping us with promotion. While they do their promotion, they share our name and everything with everything that they do. So again, we're very appreciative of that. So I do want to say, make sure you get over, and if you don't, you don't have to follow them, but follow them. If you hit the like button, like something on their page, I'm sure they'll greatly appreciate it, because they do a lot for us as well. So that's all I'm asking them from you. And you know what? Really do yourself a favor when you're getting ready for the game on Sunday afternoon. Stop by and get yourself a case of Duquesne Pilsner, guys. Really goes really great for football games. We have it all the time right here in the studio on tap. Get yourself some Duquesne Pilsner made right here in Pittsburgh, guys. And as it says on the can, grab a Duke. So there you go. Let me grab a couple of these messages, guys, as we do get ready to wrap things up for the day on this warm hump day in Pittsburgh. It was right around 0 degrees over the weekend, guys. It's going to be 60 tomorrow. That really that freed me, man. It really did. It was getting me down with the super cold temperature this early. Get to January, February expected, but it's again not even Christmas yet. So I'm going to go, where are we at here? Let's get back to a couple of these comments. I'm just going to randomly take some because there was plenty of comments today, guys. I do want to say thank you. You guys were awesome, as you always are. I can't say enough, as I usually do make sure I tell everybody how great you guys are. I do want to say, Sommer, thank you, my man. Greatly appreciated, sir. That will definitely go back into the show as well. We appreciate you. As always, thank you, my friend. Let's see. With win the next two, start Caleb and Howard. That's the plan. And as I said earlier, guys, it was it's figured out. All we have to do is beat Baltimore. You can literally play Will Howard against the Lions if you wanted to. Listen, we're one game up. If they win this week and we lose, we'll be tied. We'll have the same record. If we lose next week and they win, we'll be one game less than them. And if we beat the Ravens in week 18, we will have a tiebreaker to win and make the playoffs. So technically, and I'm blown away by this. I came in yesterday and I gave you all the possibilities. These teams got to win, these teams got to lose. And then after I get off the show, I find out literally all we have to do is beat Baltimore. Nothing else matters. I don't say that we do that. Again, I don't recommend, but again, you could get healthy. Guys, all we have to do is beat the Ravens. I look it up, believe it or not. That's it. If we find a way to beat Baltimore, guys, you don't even have to, but again, I don't recommend that. Again, try beating Cleveland, try to beat Detroit. You don't want to take 3 weeks off before the playoffs start. But again, that's how close we are, guys. That's how close we are. And then, like I said, also either they lose one and we win these next two games, and it won't even matter when the Baltimore game comes around in week 18, or they lose both of these games and we win one of our next two, and the Baltimore game won't even matter as far as playoffs. But if that all falls through, again, beating Baltimore simply will get us into the playoffs no matter what. A week 18 win over Baltimore, playoffs, no matter what. So do what you want with that. Try to enjoy that. Again, it's encouraging. You got to start feeling good about this team right now. It's that time of year. They're winning in December. They're winning meaningful games. And again, we have the easiest path. Baltimore has to figure out a way to beat 3 first-place teams, basically. See what I'm saying? We got the Browns. We got Baltimore. Baltimore has to figure out how to beat 3 first-place teams. They got to beat New England. They got to beat Green Bay. And then they got to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Baltimore, the team that we just seen. You watch that team, guys. Is that team beating 3 first-place teams in a row? I'm just saying. I like our path a little bit better than I like Baltimore's. I would take it over theirs any day of the week, guys. Let me grab a couple more randoms here before we do get ready to wrap it up for the day. Cody says, if Alex Highsmith wasn't injured all the time, I'd rather have Highsmith. Shiesty says this on, you know what? It seems like it's the second part of another comment, so I'm going to skip over that. I do apologize, Shiesty. But I do want to say welcome to Shiesty. You were great on the terrible board today. We love having you on the board. Wouldn't be hard with 20 seasons in a top 3 defense. Again, that's debatable, and everybody loves to have this argument. They all feel very strong about this. Some people love Coach T, some people don't like Coach T. So you know what? I understand both sides of the argument. I truly do. I truly do. I get both sides. Both sides make valid points. I'll just leave it at that. Both sides, they do make valid points. Shiesty says, go to mediocrity. No playoff wins in 10 years. That's you're right. That's bad. No two ways about that. End of days, Roman Wilson, a bust. He will be traded. Grab a couple more here. Tyrone, I say 2 years, $10 million for Gainwell. Yo, who thinks that Herbig should start over Highsmith? That was Shiesty. Cody says, I bet Rodgers has a winning record versus I'm sure he does. I'm sure he has a great record versus the Lions. That's a good one. You have to look that up. I will check that out as well. I'll bring it up tomorrow. I don't know what this is. Hold on, let me see this. Yinzer Joe says, Ryan, do you know what a Polish boy is? Apparently it's something Clevelanders like. They named a sandwich that way. The Polish boy, I do not. I know what the Cleveland steamer is, but the Polish boy, I am not. I'm not real familiar with that. Maybe like the po' boy sandwich, maybe like they have down south. Shiesty says this. I think the difference is the AFC is wide open this year. No Burrow, no Chiefs, no problem, no Lamar. Kenneth says Thielen draws attention away from the others. Hey, a white guy, all pro is an anomaly. I agree. Yeah, that's what the distraction is. They're paying attention because, like, holy shit, who's this white dude playing starting wide receiver? Somber says with the next two, start Caleb and Howard. That's the plan. And then finally, let me grab one more up here. Yeah, Dallas is. Come on, what's going on with Dallas? And I read this yesterday. I had to go back and look up the numbers, but Dak Prescott's passer rating is in the 30s over the past 3 games when passing to George Pickens. He's becoming George Pickens again. You got to love that, guys. As he's starting to turn into his the George Pickens that we've all grown to love here in Pittsburgh. He's doing it in Dallas now. So there you go. Jamal says, now I'm hungry. It's just pork salad, pork sausage link, and a days. I think 1 or 2 wins. It's over. Jamal, I'm rocking with Highsmith. Guys, I do want to say thank you so much. I really do. You guys are amazing. I want to say thank you for coming and hanging out with us today and checking us out. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show, as you are the bloodline of this show, and I'm very proud of the bloodline of this show. And again, I ask anybody in my life and beyond, and they will tell you the same thing. You guys are great, and again, I appreciate every single message that comes through. Everything, guys. You guys, top notch. Game balls all around to the terrible board as always. And everybody, if you're at home, you're in the car, you're at the gym, wherever you may be, maybe at work, you got your earbuds on, your phones, your buds, your pods, you're checking out the show, guys. We say thank you to you as well. You all you guys make it worth it, and we appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. Even the Tater Tot, we appreciate him in his own way as well. So thank Tater Tot as well. Make sure there's nothing I'm not missing here, guys. I think that'd be it. Jamal says, gang, my man, always. Somber, bro, always my man. Take it easy, Armac. Great seeing you, dude. Nice seeing Shiesty on the board. Feel the Steel. Feel the Steel says 85% that's on this podcast. Want tough Teflon Dawn for another 18 years. Guys, thank you so much. I hope everybody has a great day. It's Wednesday already. It's Wednesday. It's almost time for the NFL again. Don't forget to get those CBS pick'ems in by tomorrow. 8:20, I do believe, is the Thursday night start time. Guys, at least get tomorrow's in. And Jamal, I'm looking at you, man. But don't forget, guys, make sure you get those CBS pick'ems in. You don't want to miss a game. We are only down to 3 weeks left in the regular season, so it's getting down to it. RB, there's a lot of people that got to try to catch up to RB. So get in there. Again, sign up late. Have a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Sign up. Get in there, play a few weeks, but don't forget to get those picks in by tomorrow. When that Thursday night game does start, we'll be back tomorrow at our regular time to do it all over again. Get ready for Thursday night football. And I think, again, guys, I think we have a chance on Sunday. And if we do win on Sunday, where do you really feel that this Steeler team is at? Do you think that we're turning the corner? I think we might be. So, guys, tune in tomorrow at our regular time. Again, we'll be going over all this and so much more tomorrow. I think that's it. Guys, have a great day. Enjoy your hump day. It's warm, apparently, in a lot of places, so enjoy the warmth. Let me look here. I think I had one more mistake I wanted to that I wanted to go back and just correct myself. But you know what? I'll find it and I'll tell you tomorrow, guys. Have a great day. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. For Vanilla Thunder, for myself, the 2 Dum Yinzers, have a great hump day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.